My husband and I have been married for 10 years, deeply in love, blessed with both a son and a daughter. And there wasn't even a single concubine in the back courtyard, compared to the wives of other households. They all thought I was the happiest woman in the world. I always thought so too, until my mother-in-law brought back a delicate cousin to the manor, wanting my husband to take her as a noble concubine. I thought with over 10 years of feelings between my husband and me, he wouldn't agree. I never expected him to actually nod and agree. Of course I didn't agree, but she still entered the manor. I hated this white lotus fox spirit. She made a mistake, and I only punished her to kneel for an hour, yet she actually had a miscarriage. From then on, I became a wicked woman who was jealous of a concubine and harmed an heir. Me husband put me under house arrest, and the power to manage the household fell into the concubine's hands. I never expected this house arrest would directly cost me my life. On the verge of death, I seemed to hear a voice murmuring in my ear. It sounded like mockery, yet also like pity. Those words were deeply branded into my heart. So there was actually such a path I could take, my children. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day my mother-in-law wanted my husband to take my cousin as a noble concubine. This time I chose to graciously agree. My sister had just passed away, and your uncle already remarried. This stepmother is no good at all, carelessly finding your cousin such an unsuitable husband. Your cousin's father has been bewitched by that stepmother, and doesn't care about your cousin at all, letting that stepmother torment her. That is why Yinga came to seek help from me, her aunt. Mother-in-law paused here for a moment, glanced at me, but spoke to my husband, Xiao Run. Yaya is such an obedient and well-behaved girl, so pitiful. As her aunt, I truly feel sorry for her. Runner mother has been thinking, why not strengthen our family ties? Just take Yinga as a noble concubine. Perhaps fearing Xiao Run wouldn't agree. She kept dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief from time to time. Your cousin has no one to rely on either. If she marries into another family, I really wouldn't feel at ease. Zhao Yuing's appearance at this moment was exactly like my mother-in-law's your backyard, has only had the G-woman all these years. If you take Yinga into the mansion, just consider it as keeping mother company. Runner, what do you say this? Xiao Run looked troubled, casting his gaze toward me, as if asking for my opinion, wanting me to make the decision. In my previous life, the moment I heard this, my temper flared up, and I immediately retorted, Mother-in-law, I don't agree. If mother-in-law feels sorry for cousin Yinga, and worries she'll have no one to rely on and get bullied after marriage, why not have cousin married off from our Marquis manor, with the Marquise as her older brother backing her, who would dare bully her? Why does mother-in-law insist on having my cousin become a concubine for my husband? Wouldn't being a legal wife to someone else be much better than being a concubine in the Marquis manor? Zhao Yuing stood beside mother-in-law, wiping her tears as she said, Cousin-in-law, please don't argue with Auntie because of me. After I enter the manor, I only want to keep Auntie company. I won't compete with cousin-in-law for anything. Upon hearing this, mother-in-law immediately became angry. All these years, you've been the only one in Runner's back courtyard. Look at other families, then look at yourself. Do you know what people outside say about you? Everyone says Runner married a fierce, jealous woman, and after 10 years of marriage, he doesn't even dare to take a concubine. Do you know how embarrassing that is for Runner out there? I was also furious and spoke without thinking, why can't mother-in-law stand seeing me and my husband love each other? Why must you stuff women into my husband's back courtyard? Mother-in-law was dissatisfied with me as her daughter-in-law from the very beginning, looking down on me for being a military general's daughter with a temperament that wasn't gentle enough. Right after I married Xiao Run and found out I was pregnant, mother-in-law wanted to put someone in Xiao Run's chambers. C threw a huge fit and almost had a miscarriage, so the old Marquis didn't agree to it. Seeing me lose my temper again, mother-in-law complained to Xiao Run, Runner, this is the wife your father found for you. Is this how she should speak to her mother-in-law? So many families in the capital, whose back courtyard doesn't have a concubine. Why can't Runner have one? After 10 years of marriage, Runner only has one son and one daughter. Besides, Yinga would only be a concubine in the manor and wouldn't affect your position as the main wife. Why can't you just accept her? Xingchen, watch your attitude when speaking to mother. We'll do as mother says on this matter. Keeping cousin Yinga in the manor to keep mother company can be considered fulfilling your filial duty. My husband Xiao Run actually agreed. They're all on the same side, only I am the outsider. Since the outcome would be the same either way, why should I insist on being the villain? I might as well just agree. Seeing that Xiao Run was still asking for my opinion, mother-in-law also put the pressure on me. Lady G, what do you think? I also think mother-in-law makes a good point, but mother-in-law asked sternly, but what? I calmly took a sip of tea, and seeing they were getting impatient, I finally spoke. But after all, this is about taking a concubine for the Marquis. The Marquise has to be satisfied with her. This hypocritical man, Xiao Run, wanted to throw the problem to me. If he had any complaints later, he would definitely come make trouble for me. Better to just throw the problem right back at him. Xingchen, my attitude surprised Xiao Run a bit, but mother-in-law seemed quite pleased. Runner, Lady G has agreed. What about you? Xiao Run looked at mother-in-law, then at me, then at Zhao Yuying, and finally nodded in agreement. Then let's do as mother says. Since that is settled, let's pick a date for her to enter the manor. I'll have the servants make preparations. After saying that, I met Xiao Run's somewhat apologetic gaze, bowed and took my leave. This woman is really stupid. As the proper mistress of a Marquis's household, she actually got jealous fighting with a concubine, getting herself into this sorry state. The kids are already this big, yet she still puts all her thoughts on a man. Is this what they call being love-brained? If it were me, I'd put my thoughts on raising the children. Once the kids grow up, I'd kick that father out and let my child become the Marquis. By then, wouldn't the entire Marquis's household be under my control? The legitimate daughter of a prestigious general's household has actually fallen to this state. How pitiful. And why did you have to harm his child? That concubine and your husband are blood-related cousins. The child they have would very likely be unhealthy. When the child comes out unhealthy, wouldn't that disgust the two of them to death? Why did you have to dirty your own hands and take on all that bad reputation for nothing? You just died like this. Who knows what will happen to your two children in the future? In my sleep, it was all about dying from illness. My own voice kept repeating in my ears, making me somewhat unable to tell if it was reality or a dream. It felt like someone was covering my mouth and nose. I was like drowning in water, unable to breathe. "Ha, madam, what is wrong? Did you have a nightmare?" I had startled awake El Feiju, the maid keeping night watch for me. "What time is it?" The thick bed curtains blocked all the light in the room. I felt somewhat suffocated. "It is just past the hour of the rabbit. Does madam wish to rise?" I reached out to wipe the cold sweat from my forehead. "Get up. Have these heavy bed curtains changed later. Replace them with light gauze ones." El Feiju asked with some confusion. "Madam, didn't you say the light gauze was too bright and affected your sleep? Lately I find the light too dim. It is a bit uncomfortable. Go open the windows too." In my previous life, right after I was put under house arrest, and Zhao Yuing took charge of the household, the two senior maids by my side were dismissed for allegedly stealing goods during a journey. Later, Zhao Yuing sent two rough servant women to this courtyard to serve me. Seeing that I had lost my power, they showed me no respect whatsoever. The doors and windows were kept shut for a long time, never seeing daylight. Those were the final days of my life, extremely hard to endure. Even now that I've started over, I can no longer adapt to such an environment. El Feishu, come here. I have some matters I need you to handle. Elfeju walked over, and I whispered a few words in her ear. I had some doubts about those words from the dream. I wanted Elfeju to go out and inquire whether those words were true. Inquire about this secretly. Don't let others know. Yes, madam. The next day, my pair of children, Xiao Jingyan and Xiao Jingshu, came to pay their respects to me. Your son greets mother. My son Xiao Jingyan is 9 years old this year. He usually studies with his tutor in the outer courtyard. Apart from greeting me every morning and evening, and occasionally eating together, I don't spend much time with her. Your daughter greets mother. My daughter Xiao Jingshu is 7 years old this year. She just moved out to her own courtyard this March, and she has quite a lively personality. Good children, come here. I stood up and pulled them both into my arms. All I felt was soft and squishy. What will happen to such well-behaved children after losing their birth mother? Xiao Run has no ability and no sense of responsibility. If he hadn't married me back, then he might not be the one sitting in the Marquise's seat today. His second brother made a name for himself on the battlefield at a young age. Even the emperor praised him repeatedly and almost made his second brother the heir of the Marquise's household. Because of my engagement to Xiao Run, my father argued in court based on the rule that Xiao Run was the legitimate eldest son, strongly supporting Xiao Run as the heir. The emperor couldn't go against the rules left by the ancestors, but felt he was being unfair to Xiao Run's second brother. So he allowed the second brother to establish his own household. As for Zhao Yuing, she is just a white lotus, looks weak and easy to bully on the surface, but she is actually ruthless inside. In my past life, even when I was already confined, she still managed to find a man to ruin my chastity. And Xiao Run, without even asking, sentenced me to death and threatened me with my children, leaving me no choice but to willingly accept my death. The two of them, one does nothing, one is vicious. How can my children have any good days under these two people? Before, it was all because I didn't care enough for the children. Now that I am starting over, I must raise them well. Mother, is it because father is going to marry a concubine that you are unhappy? Don't worry, mother. Anyone who makes mother unhappy, Xiao won't let them have it easy either. Xiao Jingshu stamped her feet and said angrily, Yana too. Xiao Jingyan chimed in. Such well-behaved and filial children really warmed my heart. Xiao and Yana are both mother's good children. Mother doesn't care that father is marrying a concubine. What mother cares about most is Yana and Xiao. Mother only wants Yana and Xiao to be well. I led them to the dining table and sat down. Today, accompany mother for breakfast. I've prepared all your favorite foods. Watching them being so well-mannered and proper even while eating, I felt that being able to see them again was the greatest comfort of my rebirth. Yana, do you want to learn martial arts? Xiao Jingyan, who had been eating with his head lowered, suddenly looked up. His bright eyes gazed at me with a piercing light, his voice somewhat uncertain. Really? Does Yana want to learn? Yes. Xiao Jingyan nodded like a chick pecking at rice, his eyes full of anticipation. Xiao Jingshu also stopped eating. Mother, Xiao wants to learn too. All right, you'll both learn. Some other day, mother will have your maternal grandfather find you a master. Mother will learn together with you. Seeing how they are now, I feel a bit heartbroken. Before, I had put all my attention on Xiao Run, neglecting the two children's growth and needs. Fortunately, it is not too late now. Although I am the daughter of a great general and learnt some martial arts, what I know is nothing but fancy moves with no real substance. Back then I was young and would cry and complain about being tired at the slightest hardship. My parents felt sorry for me and didn't force me to keep learning. Otherwise, how could I have been watched by two rough servant women in my previous life, unable to even leave the courtyard? If I could have contacted my parents and brothers, I wouldn't have met such a wretched end. Zhao Yuing has been in the mansion for half a year now. With my deliberate avoidance, Xiao Run hasn't come to my place that often. Xiao Run's looks are actually quite handsome sword-like brows, starry eyes, dignified appearance. This was why I fell for him back then. But in the half-year since I came back, I've looked down on him more and more. He is nearly 30 now, and ever since inheriting the Marquis title, Xiao Run has become lazy about exercising, his physique far worse than before. The infrequent marital relations have become torture, but my son is still young, and I have no choice but to endure the disgust and serve him. Just treat it as being bitten by a dog. Zhao Yuing is still the same as in my previous life, coming to act delicate and weak in front of me from time to time, especially when Xiao Run or my mother-in-law is around. If I went by my temper from my past life, I would have been having small quarrels every 3 days and big fights every 5. Then mother-in-law and Xiao Run would have been greatly disappointed in me, thinking I was unfit to be the main wife of the Marquise's mansion. But in this life, I am not playing by her rules anymore. If I can avoid her, I avoid her. If I can't, I face it with a smile. If she wants to frame me for pushing her, I'll fall faster than her and wail louder than her. If she wants to slander me for being jealous, then I'll show her how generous I can be. Anyway, I genuinely don't care about Xiao Run or whatever anymore. Zhao Yuing has failed to frame me multiple times, and lately she has been much quieter. But, according to the timeline from my past life, Zhao Yuing should already be pregnant by now. Hongju, it is the perfect season for eating fish lately. Go tell the main kitchen to make fish soup this morning. Add a braised fish, a plate of fried shrimp, and a roast chicken too. Hongju asked in surprise. Madam, the weather is so hot right now. Wouldn't so many greasy dishes be inappropriate? Especially since the old madam might not like them. I didn't answer Hongju's question, and instead asked her another one. Has concubine Zhao called for a doctor recently? Oh, this is delicious. Quite literally, in her past life, Ji Xingchen was the jealous wife who punished a concubine in this life. She kills with kindness and cholesterol by ordering a veritable banquet of greasy, nausea-inducing foods under the guise of celebration. She forces Zhao Yuing's pregnancy out into the open without saying a word. It's a classic show, don't tell. She doesn't accuse, she simply serves roast chicken and watches the biology do the work. It's elegant, undeniable, and leaves her hands perfectly clean. The suspense here is palpable. Will the concubine vomit and reveal her secret, or choke it down to keep the charade? Spoiler, nature always wins. Hongju thought for a moment before shaking her head and saying, No, in the past 2 months, aside from the required monthly wellness checkups in the mansion, I haven't heard of any master being sick and calling for a doctor. Why is Madam suddenly asking about this? I continued fanning, with the round fan in my hand. This concubine, Zhao has been in the manor for half a year now. She should be pregnant by now, right? Hongju seemed to have figured something out, her excitement showing plainly on her face. I understand now. Madam wants to use greasy food to test whether concubine Zhao is pregnant, then secretly cause her to miscarry so it can't be blamed on Madam. Who said I was going to harm concubine Zhao's child? This girl actually thought so much into it. I shot her a glare. Fortunately, that matter back then was entrusted to Lelfate Zhu. Elfate Zhu is a bit older than Hongju, and her temperament is also much calmer. That matter was handled with extra care back then. After all, it was something in someone else's inner courtyard. She was able to find so many examples without letting others discover it. She is truly capable. I am indeed testing whether concubine Zhao is already pregnant, but it is just for precaution. In case concubine Zhao tries to use it to frame me, I'll be prepared. Hongju nodded, admiringly. Madam is still the most thoughtful. One can never be too careful about guarding against others. This servant will go instruct the kitchen to prepare the dishes now. In my previous life, if Zhao Yuing had said she was already pregnant, I wouldn't have made her kneel as punishment, leading to her miscarriage. At first, I also suspected that Zhao Yuing's pregnancy was still in its early months, and she might not have known herself. But seeing how she acted afterward, she clearly knew all along that she was pregnant and deliberately provoked me to punish her, ultimately causing the miscarriage. This was her own first child. How could she be so heartless as to use the child to frame me? Based on what I heard when I died, I suspect Zhao Yuing knew all along that her child probably wouldn't survive. Using a doomed child to drag down a legitimate wife from her position, that was totally worth it to her. It was only an hour. I remember that day, no wind, no rain. The sun couldn't even reach her, and she'd always been in good health. How did she just miscarry like that? Since that is the case, this time around, I'll bring her pregnancy out into the open. If I can't afford to mess with her, can't I at least avoid her? I am actually quite looking forward to seeing if Zhao Yuing can successfully give birth this time. I also want to know, does she even have that kind of luck? What the hell is she going to pop out anyway, mother? This is fish that was just delivered to the manor today. Fish in this season is exceptionally fresh. Your daughter-in-law specially had the kitchen stew some soup. Please try it, Mother Marquis. Please have some too. I gestured to the maid serving dishes beside us to bring another bowl. Serve a bowl to concubine Zhao as well. Normally speaking, as a mere concubine, Zhao Yuing wouldn't be qualified to eat at the same table as us. But who told her to be mother-in-law's own niece? So in this Marquis's manor, aside from the title, Zhao Ying's treatment is no worse than mine. Just as I expected. Zhao Ying dry heaved. I was pleased inside, just as I'd anticipated, but I still had to show some concern on the surface. What is wrong, sister? Does today's dish not suit your taste? Mother-in-law had her joy written all over her face, with no mind to pay attention to me, her eyes full of light as she looked at Zhao Yuing. Could Yinga be pregnant? When was your last period? Mother-in-law said this without even considering that Xiao Run, a grown man, was still present. Xiao Run's expression right now was a bit complicated, like he was happy, yet also embarrassed, hard to describe. Zhao Yuing shyly glanced at Xiao Run, lowered her head and said softly, "This month seems to be a few days late." Mother-in-law seemed to have already confirmed something in her heart and said to a maidservant, "Hurry and invite the household physician over to check on Yinga." Before long, that maidservant led in the household physician, who was over 50 years old. Mother-in-law anxiously said, "Physician, quickly examine Madame Zhao." A moment later, the physician cupped his hands and congratulated. "Congratulations, old madam. Congratulations, Marquis." The physician looked at me with some sympathy in his eyes, so he skipped over me and bowed respectfully to Xiao Run. "Concubine Zhao has been pregnant for over a month now." Good, good. Good mother-in-law happily held on to Zhao Yuing. "Rewards, old madam," the physician said with some difficulty. Concubine Zhao's pregnancy is still in its early months. The fetus is somewhat unstable. If not properly cared for, she may very likely miscarry. Mother-in-law's elated mood was like suddenly having cold water splashed on it. Then what should we do? "Physician, you must find a way to help Madame Zhao keep this pregnancy." "Rest assured, madam, this old man will certainly do his utmost." "Then I should also think of a way to get out of this, lest I get dragged into this mess again. Since that is the case, let's exempt concubine Zhao from the daily greetings. Just rest well in the courtyard and nurture the pregnancy." After so many years, the Marquise's household is finally having a new addition. "Sister, you must be careful. Mother and the Marquise are both looking forward to it." How could that be acceptable? Zhao Yuing is stirring up trouble again. How can the household rules be changed just for Yinga? This won't do. Besides, sister has already given birth to 2 children and has experience. So this is where the trap was waiting for me, saying I have experience in childbirth. If anything happens to her later, wouldn't it be blamed on me intentionally harming her? As far away as you can. Stay the hell away from me. There are exceptions to everything. Right now, the child in sister's belly is the priority. Why talk about rules or no rules? As for childbirth experience, what would I know about all that? Back when I was pregnant, my mother doted on me and specially sent her old nanny to take care of me. I've barely even taken care of the children myself. What experience would I have? Since that old nanny is so experienced, I wonder if sister could bear to part with her. The household physician said my pregnancy is unstable if there were an experienced person to take care of me. This Zhao Yuing sure has some nerve. First she wanted me, the legitimate wife of the Marquis's household, to attend to a concubine during her pregnancy. When that didn't work, she wants my nanny. She is determined to drag me into this no matter what. Michu is already this big. That old nanny was from several years ago. My mother sent her back to retire long ago. Besides, the Marquis Manor has its own physicians and midwife nannies. They're all experienced. Sister can rest assured and focus on the pregnancy. Mother, what do you think? I don't believe mother-in-law would truly feel at ease in trusting the pregnant Zhao Yuing to me. Mother-in-law seemed fairly satisfied with my words. Lady G is right. Just stay in your courtyard and focus on your pregnancy. I'll send 2 experienced old servants to your courtyard and have the physician check your pulse daily. Xiao Run, who had held back for quite a while, finally spoke up, though his words were somewhat embarrassing. I just follow Mother and Madam's arrangements. Madam is, after all, the head lady of the Marquis Manor. She still has to handle all sorts of matters in the manor. How could she personally attend to you? As soon as these words came out, the scene instantly fell silent. Zhao Yuing's face flushed red with embarrassment. She didn't even dare to raise her head. Yes, Yinga will obey the Marquise. Her voice was full of a tearful tone, brimming with grievance. I finally shook off that troublesome Zhao Yuing for now, feeling much more relaxed in body and mind. Unexpectedly, that eyesore Xiao Run followed my footsteps and caught up. Although I found him somewhat annoying, I still had to deal with him nicely. Marquise. Xiao Run opened his mouth wanting to say something, but had an expression like he didn't know how to start. What I can't stand the most is this look on Xiao Run's face. It is exactly what people call acting like a whore while pretending to be virtuous, wanting to achieve his goals but unwilling to speak up himself, expecting others to do everything for him. I said impatiently, "Just say what you have to say, Marquis. We've been husband and wife for years. There is no need to beat around the bush." I don't know which of my words hit Xiao Run's sore spot. His face showed even more shame. In the end, he still stiffened his neck and said, "Madam, about Yinga being pregnant. Could Madam possibly, Marquise? What kind of person do you take me for?" Although Xiao Run didn't finish his words, based on my understanding of him, I already knew what he was going to say. I was indeed a bit angry, but his words were also within my expectations. Xiao Run hurriedly explained in a panic, "Madam, that is not what I meant. You misunderstood. Since it is like this, I might as well take this opportunity to leave the Marquise's manor for a while." "You've already said it, Marquise. Isn't that exactly what you meant? In a couple of days, I'll go back to my maiden home. Yana and Shuer are also studying at my eldest brother's place. I'll just go there to take care of the 2 of them. Marquise doesn't need to worry that I'll harm Madame Zhao and the child in her belly." "Madam, I really didn't think that way." Xiao Run reached out wanting to grab my hand. I took a step back and dodged, looking at Xiao Run's ugly expression. I was ready to end this back and forth with him. Marquise should just stay in the manor and keep concubine Zhao company. Her current situation needs Marquise more. Then let me congratulate the Marquis in advance on gaining another son. These next 2 days I need to arrange things in the manor properly. Can't have my home stolen while I am away. This Marquis's manor will be mine for sure. When she learnt I was going back to my maiden home, my mother-in-law didn't say anything. Perhaps she was happy about it too, although I spoke nicely, which legal wife would truly be happy about a concubine getting pregnant and bearing children? I stayed at my maiden home for some time. My family finally sensed something was off. So my eldest brother came to check on me while my 2 children were practicing martial arts. "Little sis, you've been back for so many days now. When are you going back?" He probably felt he spoke too bluntly and was afraid I'd misunderstand. So he explained, "Big brother doesn't mean to kick you out. Didn't Big brother hear that little concubine got pregnant? If you keep hiding at your maiden home, what if that little concubine gets ambitious relying on her pregnancy? If you are being wronged at the Marquis Manor, your brothers will go over and seek justice for you. Let them know you are not someone easy to bully. You are the head mistress of the Marquis Manor. You need to be there keeping those petty people in check." Of course I knew Big Brother was genuinely concerned about me, but I had my own plans in mind. "Big brother, don't worry. I've already made arrangements in the manor. Someone delivers news from there to me every day. So even though I am not at the Marquis Manor, I still know everything going on there. If anything happens, I'll go back immediately. I definitely won't let myself suffer any losses. Right now, concubine Zhao's pregnancy isn't stable yet. I don't want to bear a bad reputation for nothing. I'll go back once concubine Zhao's pregnancy stabilizes and enjoy the show." Big brother saw my confident demeanor and didn't push further about me returning to the Marquis's mansion. "Why are you only now thinking about learning martial arts?" I smiled sheepishly and said, "Haven't I become a mother now? I have to set a good example for the children. Only after going through all that did I realize how important a strong body is." Big brother seemed to recall things from my childhood. "These 2 nephews of mine are way stronger than you were back then, unlike you who couldn't take any hardship at all." Thinking about those times, I felt a bit ashamed. "Big brother, please don't make fun of me." Zhao Yuing's pregnancy was really unstable. From conception to delivery, she needed to have her pregnancy stabilized several times. In the previous months, when I occasionally returned to the mansion, Zhao Yuing still tried to blame her pregnancy troubles on me. But I really had no intention of harming her, and I genuinely wanted her to deliver this baby safely. Because I really wanted to know if that thing was true, whether she was lucky or unlucky. Later, when her belly got bigger, she also became much more docile. The day of Zhao Yuing's delivery finally arrived. Of course, I had to rush back for such an important day. By the time I arrived at her courtyard, my mother-in-law and Xiao Run had already been waiting outside the delivery room for a long time. Inside the room, Zhao Yuing's agonizing screams never stopped, and the midwife's urging was constant. Outside the door, my mother-in-law was even more anxious than Xiao Run. Seeing that I only rushed over at this time, she dumped all the pent-up frustration in her heart onto me. "Jishi, what kind of head madam are you, running back to your maiden home every other day, as if our Marquis Manor has wronged you? You weren't even here when Runner's child was being born, leaving this old woman to worry about everything." I couldn't be bothered to argue with my mother-in-law, so I just said a few soft words to brush it off. "I went to take care of Yana and Shua. These days have indeed troubled mother-in-law. It is your daughter-in-law's fault. I've already said it was to take care of the children. What else could she fault me for?" "Mother, don't blame Xingchen. She did it for the children. And hasn't she come back now?" Mother-in-law was probably too worried about Zhao Yuing, who was in labor, so she didn't nitpick at me too much. If it were any other day, she definitely wouldn't have stopped without lecturing me for at least an hour. "It is born. It is born." And what news finally came from the delivery room. The midwife's joyful voice and the baby's cries came one after another. Mother-in-law and Xiao Run's expressions visibly relaxed, but I became even more nervous, the sweat on my palms turning cold. "Madam," Liao Feizu tightened her grip on my hand, and I gripped Liao Feizu's hand back tightly. "Zhao Yuing's child has already been born, hasn't it? Some things have already changed, so my ending can be changed too, right? But right now, I am more curious about how this child actually turned out. The baby's cry I just heard was quite loud. Zhao Yuing's luck couldn't be that good, could it? The door to the delivery room finally opened, and the midwife came out holding a swaddled bundle. Congratulations, old madam. Congratulations, Madam Marquis. Concubine Zhao has given birth to a son. Mother-in-law happily stepped forward to take the child for a look. Good, good, good. A son is wonderful. Rewards, reward everyone. Xiaorun's face also showed the joy of becoming a father. I loosened my grip on El Feiju's hand, as if resigned to fate. Zhao Yuying really has such good fortune. It is fine. It is fine. My Yana is 10 years older than this child. I have plenty of time. However, the midwife's expression was somewhat strange, hesitating to speak several times, but finally lowered her head and spoke. Old madam, this child's hands have some issues. The smiles at the corners of mother-in-law's and Xiaorun's mouths instantly froze. Mother-in-law hurriedly unwrapped the tightly bundled swaddling cloth, revealing the baby's small hands. The two hands that came into view, 3 fingers on the right hand, were actually fused together. Mother-in-law was so startled she couldn't even stand steadily. Fortunately, Xiaorun supported her in time. Otherwise, the child would probably have fallen to the ground. Xiaorun also looked utterly distraught. How could this happen? My heart, which I thought had resigned to fate, lifted again. Even though I had already guessed the reason, I still had to pretend to be as worried as them. Marquis, shall we invite a doctor to take a look and see if there is any way to treat this? I pushed Xiaorun several times before he finally came back to his senses. All right, invite the manor's physician to come take a look. The manor's physician rushed over, but unfortunately this was congenital, and moreover the fusion of the fingers was quite severe, so the physician had no solution either. I nonchalantly made a suggestion that the entire Marquis Manor might not agree with. The imperial physicians in the palace know more. Why doesn't the Marquis send a formal request to have an imperial physician come to the manor to examine the child? Absolutely not. As expected, how could they let outsiders know about a child born with such a deformity? In the future, people from the Marquis Manor would surely be gossiped about whenever they met anyone outside. How can such a thing be spread outside? Does the Marquis Manor want its reputation or not? Zhao Yuing knew the child she gave birth to was deformed. At this moment, she didn't dare to speak either, just kept holding the child and sobbing on the side. Seeing that none of them were happy, I was actually quite pleased. But watching this scene for too long was indeed somewhat annoying, and I wanted to go back and rest. Actually, this is nothing. How can Madam be so heartless? Just because the child wasn't born by Madam, does Madam not care at all? Before I could finish speaking, Zhao Yuing interrupted me with her crying. So she thinks I am easy to bully, huh? Looking at everyone's unfriendly gazes, I no longer needed to give them a pleasant face. What else can be done then? Should we find someone to use a knife to separate the child's fingers? This isn't some fatal terminal illness. Aren't there many people in this world with 6 fingers? Don't they live just fine too? This child just has fewer fingers than others. Right? It is not like they can't eat or drink. What is the point of making a scene here, Madam Zhao? Take the child back and raise them well. I can see that apart from the fingers, isn't the child quite healthy otherwise? Xiaorun was probably getting a headache from all the noise. He held his head with one hand and said impatiently, Ying, why don't you take the child back first? Aunt Zhao Yuing refused to give up and sought help from her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law was also tired, and her words were dismissive. It is getting late, everyone disperse. Ying, you've just given birth. You can't stay outside for too long. Be careful of catching a chill. Go back and take good care of your body. You are still young. There will be more children in the future. Because they didn't want too many people to know about the child's physical condition, even the full moon banquet was held simply. The child was brought out for people to take a glance and then taken back. Xiao Run named the child Xiao Jing'an, only hoping that this child would grow up safe and sound. Zhao Yuing had been very quiet during this time. I couldn't be bothered to look at her bitter face, so I just let her focus on taking care of the child. She didn't need to come bother me every day. It wasn't until Xiao Jing'an was almost 1 year old that they discovered this child was somewhat different from ordinary children. This child's reactions were much slower than ordinary children. Normal children cried and fussed a lot daily, but Xiao Jing'an rarely cried or fussed. Zhao Yuing even thought this child was well behaved, knowing how to be considerate from a young age. Later they discovered that Xiao Jing'an's perception of sound was also very slow, taking forever to respond, making them think this child had hearing problems. But the physician had examined him, and Xiao Jing'an could indeed hear. After several months of observation, the physician gave his conclusion. Xiao Jing'an might have intellectual problems. In common terms, he was a fool. This news was like a bolt from the blue for Zhao Yuing. She was upset and naturally needed someone to vent on. But in this marquee manor, I was the only easy target to bully. But that was only what she thought. Madam, how cruel of you. An heir was already born with an illness. Why won't Madam let him go and insist on drugging my son into a fool? Facing the suspicious gazes of my mother-in-law and Xiao Run, I said sternly, Zhao, stop spouting nonsense and slandering people the moment you open your mouth. Do you have any proof for what you are saying? Zhao Yuing continued crying. The entire marquee manor is under Madam's control. This concubine has already been hiding in the courtyard with the child and not coming out. Please spare us, mother and child. Zhao, your child was born with an illness. Don't go dumping every chamber pot on my head. Zhao Yuing started speaking recklessly. In the entire marquee manor, who else but you would harm my son? Isn't it because you are afraid my son will threaten your son's position when he grows up? Ha! Zhao Yuing's words really made me laugh out of anger. He is just a concubine-born son with a congenital illness, and he could threaten my son's position. Zhao Shi, your ambitions are quite grand. Ji Shi, how impudent. Mother-in-law scolded harshly. Is this the attitude a proper mistress of the house should have when speaking? Such vulgar words. Mother, don't be angry. Xiao Run stood up to soothe mother-in-law's emotions. Madam, you too. Yinga was just talking nonsense because of what happened to the child. If it wasn't you who did it, then it wasn't you. But what you said just now was too harsh. As the mistress of the marquee manor, how could you even... I interrupted Xiao Run's unreasonable words. So the marquis still knows I am the mistress of the marquee manor. Those who don't know might think I am just the punching bag of this manor. Everyone in this manor vents their anger on me. Everything is left to me, and every mistake is blamed on me. All matters of the marquee manor are handled by you. If not you, then who else should we look for? Mother-in-law's questioning words were self-righteous. Is mother trying to pin what happened to Xiao Jing'an on me? Madam, mother doesn't mean it that way. Xiao Run always seems like a peacemaker, but he is actually just a shit stirrer. He thinks things just blow over like that, but issues have never truly been resolved. It is like covering a dirty, messy place with a white cloth and thinking everything is clean. Mother Anna's matter is still unclear. Blaming everything on Madam is too hasty. Marquise. Zhao Yuing looked at Xiao Run with grievance. Xiao Run's eyes were full of impatience. You can't even take care of a child properly. Look at what you've turned the entire marquee manor into there. Is not a single peaceful day. Lady Zhao, go back to the courtyard and take care of Anna first. I'll find another doctor to treat Anna. Actually, Xiao Run was someone who rarely lost his temper, so when Zhao Yuing heard him speak to her like this, she was so shocked she didn't know what to say. After Zhao Yuing left reluctantly, my mother-in-law couldn't stay any longer either. In the end, only Xiao Run and I were left. Xiao Run no longer cared about saving face and asked directly, Wasn't as matter you're doing. I didn't answer Xiao Run's question directly, but told him about something else instead. I remember Zhao Yuing's mother and mother-in-law are twins, right? Yes, but what does that have to do with the question I asked you? Facing Xiao Run's impatience, I wanted to take my time explaining. Actually, I heard something very strange that I wanted to tell the Marquis. You are still in the mood to tell stories. Marquise, don't be so hasty. Just listen to me explain slowly. I accidentally overheard someone say that two people who are blood-related can't have healthy children. Xiao Run's expression at this moment was the disbelief I had expected. What nonsense are you spouting? The Marquis doesn't believe it either, right? I didn't believe it at first when I found out, but this matter actually isn't anything rare. There are quite a few families in this world who practice marriage between close relatives, so I had someone secretly inquire about it. Guess what? It is actually true, although this situation isn't absolute. The odds are still quite high. Moreover, Zhao Yuing's mother and your mother were twins, so you and Zhao Yuing are even more closely related by blood, possibly even closer than your cousins. So, isn't the chance of you and Zhao Yuing having an abnormal child even higher? I am also very curious, so does the Marquis still think I would dirty my own hands to harm Zhao Yuing and her child? This is the checkmate moment. Ji Xingqian drops a truth bomb that no amount of palace intrigue can dodge genetics. Instead of fighting the evil stepmother narrative, she uses science, or at least observation, to dismantle her husband's accusations. She essentially says, "My dear Marquis, I didn't harm your child, your own family tree did." It's a brilliant pivot from emotional defense to factual offense. It completely neutralizes her husband's anger and replaces it with shame and horror. It's the moment she stops being a victim and starts being the smartest person in the room. If the Marquis doesn't believe it, you can go investigate yourself. Looking at Xiao Run's devastated and dazed eyes, I tugged at the corners of my mouth and left first, leaving him alone, unable to recover for a long time. My lord, the madam hasn't woken up from her afternoon nap yet. In my drowsiness, I heard the commotion outside the courtyard, and I really couldn't continue sleeping anymore. Hongju had the look of someone who had done something wrong, rushing to my bedside. "Madam." This servant couldn't stop the Marquis and disturbed Madam's rest. Xiao Run questioned angrily. "Where did you find out about this? Could the Marquis allow me to get up first before we talk?" Hongju served the Marquis some tea first. Just woken up by the noise, my head still not quite clear. However, I roughly know why Xiao Run came today. I had just finished dressing and went out when Xiao Run couldn't wait to continue the topic from earlier. "When did you find out about the matter of my child with Yinga? Why didn't you tell me again with this interrogating manner?" I rolled my eyes at Xiao Run and said impatiently, "The Marquis came today. I assume you've already inquired about it. However, what does the Marquis's child with Zhao Yuing have to do with me? Why should I butt in and meddle in your affairs?" Xiao Run didn't respond to my sarcasm, but continued with his speculation. "As soon as Yinga was diagnosed with pregnancy, you made excuses to hide back at your maiden home. You knew about this before Yinga got pregnant, didn't you?" This Xiao Run actually grew a brain and can think now. Seeing that I remained silent for a long time, Xiao Run felt he had guessed right, so he vented all the pent-up frustration in his heart at me. "Since you already knew, why didn't you say anything? Were you just waiting to watch Yinga give birth to a child with problems? Are you laughing at me in your heart right now? Ji Xingqian, we've been husband and wife for years. I didn't expect you to be such a vicious person. I hadn't slept well to begin with, and now I am being scolded right after waking up. I don't want to hold back my temper anymore. I am vicious, Xiao Run. How do you have the nerve to say that? Was it me who let your blood-related cousin into the manor? Was it me who got your blood-related cousin pregnant? Aren't these all things done by you and your mother? In the end, you call me someone completely uninvolved, vicious. Xiao Run, Do you even have any sense of responsibility as a man? Xiao Run's head ached from the repeated mentions of blood-related cousin. As the main wife of the Marquis's mansion, how can you say you are someone completely uninvolved? If you had told us what you knew earlier, how would the current Anna have come to be? If others found out I have a naturally dim-witted son, the entire Marquis's mansion would become everyone's laughingstock. I scoffed and replied, even if I had spoken up, would the outcome have been any different? Would you have believed me? Or would you have thought I was spouting such absurd nonsense just to stop Zhao Yuing from entering the mansion? Even if you believed me, even if Zhao Yuing wasn't pregnant, or even if Zhao Yuing hadn't entered the mansion, you would still end up blaming me for being narrow-minded, a jealous woman who can't even tolerate her husband taking a concubine. I questioned him with bitter disappointment. Xiao Run, you are already a 30-year-old man. Why are you still so lacking in responsibility? Whenever something happens, you only know how to dump the problem on me, a mere woman, Xiao Run. Let me tell you, I haven't dealt with this matter before, and I won't deal with it in the future either. Figure it out yourself. Xiao Run was finally shaken into some shame by my angry outburst, and only after a long while did he manage to speak. Madam, I am sorry, He stammered, but couldn't get out a single complete sentence. I'll handle it myself. I am heading back now, finally left behind one sentence and fled in panic. I suddenly had a little idea, so I called out to Xiao Run. Since the Marquis has already inquired, you should also know that the child's condition isn't absolute. Why doesn't the Marquis try again with concubine Zhao? What if the next child turns out to be normal? Marquis, you really need to put in more effort. My encouraging smile was met with Xiao Run's darkened face as he flung his sleeves and left. But I can be certain that Xiao Jing'an is pretty much Xiao Run and Zhao Yuing's last, and only child, but I didn't expect Xiao Run to be this ruthless. It completely shattered my understanding of Xiao Run. He really does big things quietly, huh? Not a few days later, news came from Zhao Yuing's courtyard that Xiao Jing'an had died young from illness. Even a vicious tiger won't eat its own cubs. Actually, it is not that surprising. In my previous life, when that incident happened, Xiao Run persuaded me to end my own life for the sake of the Marquis manners and the children's reputation. After Xiao Jing'an's death, Xiao Run retreated into himself like a turtle hiding in its shell, and I rarely saw him anymore. I wonder if he was ever this dejected after I died in my previous life. It wasn't until mother-in-law's birthday banquet, when the manor opened its doors to welcome guests, that Xiao Run finally tidied himself up to look presentable and came out. Madam, this servant didn't do it on purpose. Madam's clothes are dirty. Why not go back to the room and change first? Looking at the unfamiliar little maid, kneeling at my feet admitting her mistake. This familiar scene. I thought I had changed my fate, but after all the twists and turns, I am back here again. This was the calamity that killed me in my past life. But the me now is no longer the me from my past life. Knowing full well it is a trap, why would I obediently jump right in? But, Zhao Yuing, since this pit has already been dug, someone has to be buried in it. All right, get up. There are many people today, so be careful and don't offend. I had just returned to my room when a sleazy-looking man in coarse clothing appeared inside. Jijuo, he called for my guard hiding in the shadows. Jijuo appeared at my call, and with one swift chop to the neck, the man collapsed. Send this filthy thing back to that person. Don't dirty my floor. Yes, Jijuo hoisted the man over his shoulder and vanished from the spot. As for me, I was still waiting. Before long. The commotion outside grew closer and closer. Quite a lot of people must be coming. This is exactly what happened in my past life, caught in adultery by a crowd. I brought utter shame to the Marquis's household and was driven to my death. Amidst their anxious knocking, I leisurely opened the door. Mother-in-law, why are you here, And you've brought all the guests here too. An unfamiliar woman spoke up. We heard that the Marchioness found a rare treasure for the old madam's birthday banquet. We were curious and wanted to see something extraordinary. The Marchioness won't blame us, will she? I believe my mother-in-law has nothing to do with this. After all, this is her birthday banquet. If a scandal involving the Marquis household's main wife broke out, I am sure she wouldn't want that either. It should just be Zhao Yuing's own idea. Of course not. It is just that I asked my maternal family's brothers to find this item, and they rushed to get it here just in time. I only just came back to fetch it. El Feiju, go bring out the birthday gift I prepared for mother-in-law and show it to all the madams. Here we have the ultimate reversal. In her past life, this was the scene of her ruin caught in a setup of adultery. In this life, she turns it into a magic trick, while the villains are banging on the door, expecting to catch her in bed with a stranger. She's calmly preparing a glass ornament for her mother-in-law. The tension is high. We know the trap is sprung, but she diffuses it with absolute cool-headedness. She doesn't just dodge the bullet, she catches it in her teeth and spits it back out as a birthday gift. It's a scene that screams, I am untouchable. What El Feizu brought out was a colourful glass ornament that my elder brother had brought back for me from out of town not long ago, for me to play with in my leisure time. The glass isn't anything rare. One this big is still quite uncommon. This hurdle could be considered past. After the birthday banquet ended, news from Zhao Yuing's courtyard spread over. This was arranged by me. I had people guarding Zhao Yuing's courtyard, her affairs, couldn't be allowed to disgrace the Marquise's manor. After all, this Marquise's manor is already in my pocket. Our own manor's affairs should be handled by ourselves. The Marquise's manor isn't a stage for people to watch. Zhao Yuing was curled up at the foot of the bed, hugging herself and sobbing, while that sleazy man was gagged and tied up to the side. This was the scene everyone saw when they entered the room. Every own unimportant, get out and close the door. When Zhao Yuing saw her mother-in-law, it was like seeing a savior. She darted over and hugged her mother-in-law's thigh. Auntie, it is not like that. I didn't do anything. You have to stand up for me. Zhao Yuing didn't explain anything. First she started straight with Although mother-in-law valued Zhao Yuing as her niece, Xiao Run was still her own son after all. Making her own son wear a green hat. No one could accept something like this. I'll first explain what happened clearly. Mother-in-law found a chair and sat down. Zhao Yuing wiped her tears, kneeling on the ground, and began to recount the story. I was in the front courtyard when, for some reason, I suddenly fainted. When I woke up, I was already in bed, with this lowly man lying beside me. Aunt, I really didn't do anything. I don't know why this happened either. And what you turn to look at Xiao Run, Marquis, please believe me. I am just here to watch the show today. Marquis, look what you've driven my sister to. Could it be that sister came up with this seed borrowing scheme, just to have a healthy child? It's just sister. If you wanted to borrow seed, you should have found a better looking man. This one. Any child from him would be an embarrassment to the Marquis. Xingchen, shut up. Xiao Run's face had turned black as the bottom of a pot. It was you. It must have been you. Zhao Yuing snarled at me viciously. Everything today was your doing, wasn't it? I can't even have the Marquise's child anymore. Why can't you still tolerate me? I pursed my lips and said, exactly. You can't even bear the Marquise's child anymore. Why would I harm you? What would I gain from harming you without you? The Marquis would just take another concubine who can bear children. So why would I harm you? Actually, both she and I knew exactly what happened. She tried to harm me, but ended up getting harmed instead. But would she dare to say it out loud? She wouldn't dare. Besides you, who else would want to harm me? I repeated the reasons from just now once again. Didn't you want to borrow a seed to have a child? I recall this man isn't from the Marquis's mansion, right? Then how did he get into the inner quarters of the mansion? How about we report this to the authorities and let them investigate? No, what authorities? The voices of refusal came in unison. Report to the authorities. That is impossible. I was just saying it. How can we let outsiders know about this kind of thing? Do we still want the Marquis's mansion's reputation or not? The former was said by Zhao Yuing, the latter by my mother-in-law. Actually, this matter is easy to investigate. By now, I've pretty much got the entire Marquis's mansion under my control. In the end, that adulterer was secretly executed, and Zhao Yuing, for the sake of my mother-in-law's face, was sent to a manor to fend for herself. Just as I was about to get up and leave, Xiao Run stopped me. You clearly had a better way to handle this matter. So why did you still do it this way? Why does the Marquis think I am a good person who doesn't fuss over everything? Xiao Run looked somewhat stunned. I continued. Today's outcome is entirely her own doing. Those who harm others will ultimately harm themselves. Marquis, you are too obsessed with superficial peace. If everything is handled this way, once it accumulates to a certain point, it will eventually explode and become uncontrollable. After I finished speaking, I walked away, not caring what Xiao Run was thinking now. When Zhao Yuing left the mansion, I went to see her off. Zhao, it has already come to this. Why did you still want to harm me? Actually, as long as you had lived your days peacefully and behaved, your ending wouldn't have been too bad. You don't even have children, so why did you do all this? Zhao Yuing smiled bitterly as if resigned to her fate. Yes, I don't have children, so as long as you are gone, I'll treat your children as my own. Is it wrong for me to want to get ahead? You've enjoyed so many years of blessings. Why can't I? Why must I always be beneath others? So she actually had such thoughts all along, but I don't believe her when she says she'll treat my children as her own. People like her who are greedy and never satisfied, once they get a little, they'll want even more. People often die from greed and discontentment. You chose the wrong path yourself. This ending is all your own choosing. Not long after Zhao Yuing was sent to the manor, news came that she had gone mad. So I had people keep her under even tighter watch, lest she get out and hurt anyone again. Death would be too easy for her. She deserves to be tormented day after day. Barring any accidents, that place will be her final resting place. As for Xiao Run, I had no intention of saving or changing him. I got him 2 obedient and beautiful concubines, so he wouldn't come bother me from time to time. The reason I went to see Xiao Run again was to have him give up his position. My son Xiao Jingyan's coming-of-age ceremony at 20 was approaching soon. The path I arranged for Xiao Jingyan was the same as his second uncle's first establish meritorious achievements, then inherit the title. Over these years, Xiao Jingyan has made some accomplishments following my maiden family's brothers, and has even been recognized by His Majesty. Unlike Xiao Run, who to this day still holds an idle position at court under family privilege. I don't beat around the bush either. Getting straight to the point, Yan is about to come of age. I hope you can step down and make way for the worthy. What did you say? Xiao Run looked as if he had misheard something. I repeated my demand. I said, Marquis, you should go petition His Majesty, saying you are old and want to hand the manor over to Yana. With Yana's current abilities, surely the ancestors of the Marquis Manor wouldn't object, right? So as his father, please don't hold your son back. After stepping down, you can enjoy a nice retirement. Xiao Run wasn't even 40 years old yet, so calling him old was indeed a bit of a stretch. But it is just an excuse. Anyway, Xiao Run was stunned for a long time without responding. I wasn't in a hurry either. There is always a process of acceptance. I sat to the side, quietly waiting for his answer. After a long while, Xiao Run finally spoke slowly while holding his forehead. All right, I understand. This Marquis Manor would be his sooner or later anyway, since he has the ability, There is no harm in him taking over earlier. Tomorrow I'll enter the palace to petition His Majesty." Having gotten a definite answer, I was relieved and stood up to leave. "Madam, I remember you used to call me husband. When exactly did we become like this? I remember when we first got married. Things were still so good." Hearing Xiao Run say this, my footsteps couldn't help but stop. Even my heart, which had long been calm, began to ache faintly. Yeah, we were still so good at the beginning. Back then, among all the noble family's sons, Xiao Run wasn't the most outstanding. But back then, in my eyes, there was only him. He was cheerful. He was good-looking. He liked me. I think, if I could do it all over again, I would still choose him. It is just that. Time can wear a person down, can also give one a new life, but it simply won't let one return to the past. And you got the chance to start over. I've already walked down a path different from my previous life. And this series, I don't want to reminisce about all the good times with Xiao Run anymore. Those, I buried them long ago. Marquise, I think the way we are now, each living peacefully, is already our best ending. I left these words and walked away. I seemed to hear Xiao Run's soft sigh. What you be getting old. Actually starting to miss the old days. For someone like Xiao Run to abdicate at this age is truly rare. And for someone like Xiao Jingyan to take the position at this age, most would be those who lost their elders and inherited by succession. Although Xiao Jingyan succeeding at this age inevitably invites gossip, those who have achieved this much at his age are few and far between. Even His Majesty had no objections, so let others say whatever they want. And the one with the biggest objection was my mother-in-law, the Marquise Manor's old madam. No, wait. Now she should be called the Marquis Manor's dowager madam. The Marquis Manor's old madam is now me. Now that the big matters are settled, my mother-in-law called me over just to scold me a bit to vent. I'll just go listen for a bit. I can't let myself get so worked up that something happens now. My son just succeeded to the position. It is the perfect time to build achievements. I can't let her give people something to criticize. Lady G, it was you, wasn't it? I know my own son. There is no way he would suddenly abdicate. You must have put him up to it. Why are you in such a hurry? This Marquis Manor will be Yanna's sooner or later anyway. But Runner is only this age, and you made him abdicate. How do you expect others to see him? Indeed, the Marquis Manor will indeed be Xiao Jingyan sooner or later. But the earlier he succeeds, the earlier I can sit back and enjoy my blessings. That is a huge difference. I comforted her gently. Mother-in-law, since the Marquis Manor will be Yanna's sooner or later. Anyway, if Yanna succeeds earlier, he can bring glory to the Marquis Manor sooner. How many years has our Marquis Manor been without renown? Are you looking down on my son? I found it somewhat amusing. Only mother-in-law thinks her son is capable back then. He nearly had the heir position snatched away by his second younger brother. It was precisely because I thought of this that I sent Xiao Jingyan to my brother's military camp for training. Although the process was rather arduous, at least Xiao Jingyan persevered through it. I suddenly understood mother-in-law a little. I am a mother now too, and I also think my son is the best in the world. You are trying to anger me to death. I am going to report you for being unfilial. Mother-in-law clutched her chest and yelled at me angrily. The sympathy I had just felt instantly vanished. I am unfilial. I observed mourning for my late father-in-law, tended to my mother-in-law at her sick bed. I have 2 excellent children in Yanna and Shua. I've managed the Marquis's household for over 20 years. Mother-in-law should know what my reputation outside is like, right? Mother-in-law can go ahead and tell everyone about my unfilial behavior and see whether people think I am truly unfilial, or whether they think mother-in-law at her age still can't tolerate a daughter-in-law like me. I was also afraid of making mother-in-law so angry that something might happen to her. So I stopped hanging around in front of her. Me parents have my brothers to look after them. My daughter has married into a good family, and my son has already inherited the title. My life can be considered complete. It is also time to enjoy my blessings. The sufferings from my past life have gradually become blurry, and I rarely think about them anymore. Old madam, the weather today is really nice. The only old servant still by my side now is El Faizo. He couldn't help but sigh and say, yes, the days ahead will only get better and better. Being the old madam of the Marquise's household is much more comfortable than being the Marchioness. Now, if I were to summarize the soul of this story, two phrases come to mind: strategic apathy and the long game first. Strategic apathy, Ji Xingchen, teaches us that the opposite of love isn't hate, it is indifference. In her first life, she cared too much about her husband, her status, fairness. In this life, she stops caring about winning his heart and starts caring about winning the war. By emotionally detaching herself from her husband, just treat it as being bitten by a dog, she gains clarity. She agrees to the concubine. She ignores the petty fights, and in doing so, she becomes invincible. She proves that sometimes the best way to handle a toxic relationship is to simply opt out of the drama second, the long game. While everyone else is playing checkers, fighting for affection, plotting little traps, G is playing 4D chess. She focuses on her health, raises her children to be independent, and quietly secures her power base. She doesn't need to scream or fight to become the head of the household. She just waits for her son to come of age and politely asks her husband to retire. It's a victory won, not by a single battle, but by 20 years of relentless, quiet competence. Locate text. Marquise, I think the way we are now, each living peacefully, is already our best ending. And so, my friends, we see that the best revenge is simply living well and maybe retiring your husband early. If you enjoyed watching Madame G expertly navigate the treacherous waters of the Marquisate without getting her hem wet, do give that like button a gentle tap. It helps the channel more than a greasy fish helps reveal a secret pregnancy. Subscribe to join us for more tales of wit and wisdom. And please share your thoughts in the comments. Would you have the patience to play the long game like Ji Xingchen, or would you have flipped the table at the first family dinner? Until next time, keep your tea hot and your strategies colder. Farewell.